Okay, so we're going to cover a few other features and aspects of the Windows, the VMware Workstation Pro interface before we dive in on the menu toolbar and working with hardware and virtualization and all of it. One of the options you had back with Workstation 12 Pro was what the easy install feature. I have not observed that feature in 14 or 15 or 15.5. I think it may have gone away. It would allow you to automate some kinds of Linux and Windows. Um, Probably your best bet is to control the process anyway. Um, and at the end, it will install VMware tools for you. You can do that yourself. As soon as the OS is fully installed, you can use the machine menu, click machine, choose install VMware tools, and it will mount a new ISO image, basically a virtual CD with the appropriate software. Now you can also, once you've got VMware up and running, in addition to creating VMs, you can add them if they already existed. Say, for example, you've instead of installing VMware from scratch, you've done an upgrade from 14 or to 15 or 15 to 15.5, and you want to find all your VMs. What thing you can actually do is tell it to go look for them. We'll talk about, I think we can talk about that in the menu section. Maybe you're running a virtual appliance. Maybe you've changed computers and you're moving all your data from one machine to another. Your VMware is not just going to find those things. It will only go look for them if you tell it. And the best way, honestly, is to go find them yourself, particularly if you're not entirely certain where they are, or you don't want it to just find everything. Maybe you have 10 VMs, but you only need one of them on a given system. Or if you're distributing a virtual machine to multiple hosts, on that new machine, you're going to tell it whether it's been moved or copied, and pay close attention to that dialog box. Just do what it tells you. Usually, I think the best bet is usually I copied it. What that I think will do is actually change the UUID. You can also add a machine to the administrative console. Anyway, so one of the things that it will do, as I said, is change the UUID, the universally unique identifier. In the world of Linux, this is kind of a fingerprint of sorts for a drive partition. So you don't have to worry about whether this is dev STA1 or 2 or 5 or 12 or 8, because drive partition number can get a little weird. The UUID is part of the VM's identity, and is related to the machine's physical MAC address. What you don't want is two VMs with the same hard drive, or two VMs with the same MAC address. You can change those things. You have to decide whether you want to keep the UUID, and if you don't, if there's any chance that these two VMs will interact with each other, make sure you do not keep the UUID. Most of the rest of this chapter is going to be dealing with the layout and function of your administrative console. This is it. The coloration has changed since 12. This is what it kind of looked like in 14. In 15, it went all kind of gray rather than this sort of gradient blue. You've got your library pane, which we'll discuss in just a minute. You've got your console pane here. This little button here with the blue at the bottom will turn on your thumbnail view. This one right here will turn on and turn off your library view. So the library view is optional. If you don't need to pick and choose between your VMs a lot, you don't want to worry about, if you want to save yourself some space, you can increase the size of your console and give your guest OSs more real estate. The big tell between console view and guest view, shall we say, is this bar this sub-panel right here, this sidebar, shall we say. You'll power it on, you can see your devices, your description, your machine details. If you can see how much memory it should have, how many processors it's got, how big the hard drive is, its network configuration, if you can see that, you're in console view. The library pane will also allow you to group VMs. What you can do with those is power them all up together, power them all down together. What you cannot do is reset them, suspend them, reboot them, etc. It's kind of an on or off thing. You still have to go in individually for any kind of granular control. If you see my computer, those are locally attached. If you see shared VMs, those are remote hosts. You may have connected to, say, an ESXi host and you can see some VMs on it. Those will be in your shared VM space. In the next video, we'll talk about the menu bar, actually the next couple of videos.